Hello students, welcome back to Atmiya Green School. I am Afrin Sayed, your English teacher. And students, today we are going to continue with our chapter, The Diary of a Space Traveler. Before I start explaining you the chapter, I would like to discuss a summary, a recapitulation of the story which we had in the last class. So we saw that this is a diary of a space traveler, that was Professor Shonku. So Professor Shonku went to the space, and he has prepared his own spaceship, and in that spaceship he is traveling to space. Okay, so here he's been working with his colleague, and along with his colleague there is a robot, and there is a cat and dog with him. We have which have went to space, and they have reached to the Mars, and on Mars they got encountered with the group of creatures which are a bit strange, as they are not humans and not animals as well, nor a fish, but they had the appearance of all the three creatures, that is human, animal and fish, as they are about 4 feet height, and they had legs and feet, but instead of arms they have huge fins like fish have. Their head is also very big, and they even have scales on their body. So it is explained that professor robot the Professor Shonku's robot has already warned them about the situation, about the going about a danger which they are going to encounter, and suddenly they came across this creature. So we have discussed till there, and today we'll move ahead. Here it says, I'll read it for you students. The creature could not run very fast. It kept stumbling almost at every step. I wheeled around the saw and saw at a distance thousands of similar creatures making their way towards us, swaying on their feet. They were all making that horrible chirping noise. Their bodies shone bright in the sun. It was blinding. So those sparks, those scales which they have on their body were so shining that they were actually blinding their eyes. So Bindu Shekhar sung his arm and hit the creature. So who was Bindu Shekhar? Bindu Shekhar was a robot. It gave a little squeak, flapped its wings, and fell to the ground. So when Bindu Shekhar hit them, they fell on the ground. After that, he might enrich the entire Martian army and direct Bindu Shekhar into the rocket. Okay, then after they fought with those Martian army, they got into the rocket. But just as I was about to shut the door, I felt something cold and damp against my feet, and everything went black. When I opened my eyes, the rocket was flying once more. How on earth did the rocket take off? How started it? Where were we headed for? So as soon as they got inside the rocket, suddenly the Professor Shonku felt the some cold wind under his feet, and to their surprise, the rocket was traveling once again, and they didn't even know that where are they moving towards, where are they heading towards. So they were still flying through the space, and he was very much exhausted mentally as well as physically, and so do Prahlad and Newton. So Bindu Shekhar wanted me to open the window. I removed. Students, if you can remember that Prahlad was his colleague, and Newton was his dog. Okay, so now what happened was, the Newton was his cat. So now what happened was that Newton was his cat, students. Remember, Newton was his cat. So now Bindu Shekhar was asking them to open the window. So he removed the shutter and his eyes met perfectly with the dazzling. There was an endless stretch of bright purples in the sky, forming and bursting countless golden spheres were expanding and enlarging until they exploded and made a great golden spray of light like a fountain. It is as if some king in this new spatial world is having a display of fireworks at some extraordinary royal festival. So when they look outside the window, they found that there were lots of bubbles in the sky. Some were shining, some were not. Some has the golden colors, some were spheres, and some were sparkling like a fountain. And it was like a royal festival. Like students, if you can remember, during Diwalis, what happened that there are crackers all around in the sky, and the entire sky is filled with crackers, and there is a lot of light and different colors, and entire sky is decorated with those crackers. And all around our surrounding we can hear the crackling of the crackers. So it seems to be like a royal festival in the sky. Now Bindu Shekhar suddenly shouted, Tafa, and rushed to the window. I followed him and looked out. There were no lights and no rocks, nothing except a bright white planet, clear and pure like a full moon, looking down at us. There was no doubt that our rocket was heading for it, if Bindu Shekhar had to believe that planet was called Tafa. So what happened? Suddenly Bindu Shekhar started shouting Tafa, and it was like there were no lights and no rocks, and it was a bright, just a white planet, which was just like a full moon. Okay, and Bindu Shekhar named that place as a Tafa. Tafa is clearly visible, and now we can see millions of blinking lights on the surface, as if they are myriad red fireflies glowing in the dark. The light is strong enough to illuminate our cabin. Now what happened, that it was clearly visible. Now they were, but there was so it was so bright that like it was so bright that it felt like myriad of fireflies, and glowing in the darkness. They were Fireflies are basically, if you have ever heard the name of jugnus are something which have the light on their back while they fly. So the entire place was glowing with the fireflies in the dark. The light is strong enough to illuminate our cabin. So it was so bright that the entire cabin was brightening. We reached Tafa yesterday. A large number of people had gathered to welcome me. Their heads are large and so are their eyes, but their arms and legs are very thin, as if they have no use for the limbs. So over Tafa they met some people who are a bit strange, as they have very huge hands and even their eyes are big. Their arms and legs are so thin that there is no use of the limbs. So what happens now? I think these creatures are far behind our human civilization. They were totally primitive. There are no buildings or houses in Tafa, nor are there trees and plants. The inhabitants live underground. They just disappear into hole, but they have given us a proper house to live in. So on Tafa, where they have landed, there were some creatures, and those creatures don't live in the houses as we humans live, and they don't live on the plants and trees as our insects and birds and animals live in. They just get inside the hole, but they were very warming, and they have given a proper place to live for uh, Professor Shoku and his team. Now here he says, I have decided to stop writing my diary after today, as I do not see any chance of anything happening here that might be worth recording. My only regret is that there is no way of sending my diary back to Earth. It is packed with such a lot of valuable information. The fools who live here will neither understand it nor let me go. So what he says that now after reaching to Tafa, he decided that he will not record anything, and he is not going to write the diary, as there is no chance that he will get back to the earth, nor those people who are living on the Tafa will understand it, and they are merely fools. So he's saying that I don't know that this precious valuable information which is recorded in the diary, how is gonna delivered to earth. Now he says, after I had found Professor Shoku's diary, now here our narrator is saying that after I had found the Professor Shoku's diary, I made a copy of the entire diary and dropped it off at the press for printing. But when I returned home and went to my bedroom to get the original diary from the bookshelf, I saw nearly 1,000 hungry black ants had eaten the entire diary. All I could do was stare in disbelief because it had seemed completely indestructible. So what happened, that after he got the diary, Professor Shonku's diary, like Tarak Chatterjee got the diary. So after he got the diary, he went to the press and he asked to print the various copies for the diary. And after he came back to home, to his surprise, he saw that there were innumerable ants who were eating this diary. So to his surprise, it was very strange that those ants were eating the diary, because the diary was completely indestructible, as we have already seen in during the beginning of the chapter, that the diary was not even getting burned in naked flames. So how come that those little ants easily end up eating that diary? So that is a mystery which had not yet been solved. So this was the chapter, The Diary of a Space Traveler. I hope you would have understood it better. Now to make it more easier and more interesting, I'll play a video. Watch that video and understand it even more briefly. Okay, students, so here is a video which will give you a short summary of the entire chapter. First, there will be a short introduction towards the characters. The first character and the main character of our story is scientist Professor Trilokeshwar Shonku. Then there is Tarak Chatterjee, the narrator and acquaintance, an amateur poor writer, and Bhulo is narrator's dog. Prahlad is scientist servant and colleague, you can say. Bindu Shekhar is a professor's robot. Newton is professor's cat. Martian army, that is creature of planet Mars, and people of Tafa. Okay, so here the story goes like this. I'll play the video for you.
Around whom the story revolves. Tarak Chatterjee, narrator's acquaintance, an amateur poor writer who is not a professional writer. Bhulu, narrator's dog. Prahlad, scientist's servant, who is described as a brave, foolish, and logical at times. He helps professor most of the times. He is serving the professor in his odd experiments since 27 years. Bidu Shekhar is the professor's robot, who is an interesting character in the story. Newton, professor's cat. Martian army, they are the creatures of planet Mars. And we have the people of Tafa planet. Professor Shonku is a short story collection by Satyajit Ray that features the character of Professor Shonku, who is the main protagonist in our lesson, The Diary of a Space Traveler. It was first published in India by New Script Publications, Calcutta in 1965.
Okay, so here the story is written by Satyajit Ray. Okay, who wrote the story of main featuring character, that is Professor Shonku. And the story, it is the entire book, but you are given a short story over here, and this short story uh, is from the book written by Satyajit Ray, and it was first published in 1965.
Of the 9 short stories that are part of the collection, 8 had formerly been published in various editions of children's magazine. The two popular magazines were Sandesh and Ascharya, in which we have this character Professor Shonku, O Bhoot. The diary is the vital element of the story. So, children, before going into the main story, let me give you the background story of the protagonist's diary, which is really very interesting. Professor Shonku is a reputed scientist who had not been heard for a while. Some say that he has died while attempting a scientific experiment. Others say that he has gone incognito. Incognito means he has gone hidden and is continuing his scientific researches and experiments at some unknown corner of the earth. He will reappear in due time. The first of Professor Shonku's diaries comes to light through a certain Tarak Chatterjee, an amateur writer who has a fascination for tiger stories. As he is a writer, he is fascinated to write stories, and the subject which he like is tiger stories. So on hearing that a large meteor had hit the areas of Sundarbans, he visits the location in search of tiger skin. He fails to find it. Then he looks around and finds a red diary, which turned out to be the first of Professor Shonku's diaries. This he hands to the narrator of the story, who then replicates the journal entries in the diary, and that constitute the first story. The diary, even though apparently made of a material which is inextinguishable and cannot be torn or cut, is eventually destroyed by a colony of black ants who somehow manage to eat the entire diary. However, the narrator then visits Professor Shonku's laboratory and he locates 21 other diaries that replicates them periodically, each as a story or in a journal entry form. After the first few stories, the narrator does not reappear, with the stories starting with the journal entries. Now let us go through the gist of the story. Professor Trilokeshwar Shonku, eccentric genius. Eccentric means a person whose behavior is slightly strange. And scientist disappeared without a trace after he shot off into space in a rocket from his backyard, accompanied by his loyal but not too intelligent servant Prahlad, his cat Newton, and Bidhu Shekhar, his robot with an attitude. The story begins as a poor writer, Tarak Chatterjee, approaches the editor of Sandesh with a journal by Professor Shonku, a scientist who disappeared 15 years ago. The editor learned from the diary that the scientist, despite being mocked by his neighbor, was getting prepared for a voyage to planet Mars. He also invented a robot by the name Bidhu Shekhar, Later, the professor, along with Bidushekar, his servant Prahlad, and his pet cat by the name Newton, landed in Mars, where they were attacked by an army of Martians. Martians are the creatures of that planet. They escaped from Mars and subsequently lost their way in the space. After many days of wandering, they arrived in Tafa, an unknown planet inhabited by the first civilized humans of the solar system. Means creatures far behind our human civilization who were totally primitive. Unlike the Martians, the inhabitants of Tafa welcomed the strangers in a hearty manner and made Professor Shonku their fellow citizen and did not allow him to go back to Earth. Professor Shonku and his merry band had an adventurous time in space. The editor or narrator wanted to publish the journal in his magazine, so he made a copy of the entire diary and dropped it off at the press for printing. But when he returned home to get the original diary from the bookshelf, he found the diary was destroyed by an army of ants. So, children, this is the end of the story. Hope you had a glimpse of a space travel. Have an adventurous imagination.
So, students, this was our chapter, The Diary of a Space Traveler. It was, I had gone through the chapter as well as I have shown you the video, and I know that you guys are very much studious and obedient, and you would have surely gone through the entire chapter as well. So, your work is to read the chapter once at least so that you don't get any doubts. So I'll send you the answer key PDF also. But once you just go through the chapter or each and every line, learn the meanings. For you, I'll go through the meanings once so that it's easier for you to learn. On page number 47, you have the word ebbing, which means decreasing gradually. Gradually means slowly. So ebbing means decreasing gradually. Then we have the second word, that is enthusiastic, which means excited and full of energy. Okay, we say na, come on students, be enthusiastic, do your work properly. So that is enthusiastic. Then we have the third word, that is venture, that is undertaking usually involving some risk. So venture is something which involves some risk with it. Then on page number 48, we have the word luminous, which means it is very bright. Just like we say luminous to the stars. The word luminous is associated with the stars. Then on page number 49, we have the word array, which means strange and mysterious as well as frightening. So something which is strange and mysterious and frightening is known as array. Then on page number 50, we have the sixth word, that is ambrosia, that means the food of the gods in the Greek and Roman myth. So the food which gods in Greek eat is known as ambrosia. Then we have the word 7, that is fatigue. Fatigue means tiredness. So fatigue is the word given to tiredness. Okay. Then okay, so this was the meanings we have in this chapter. So how you're going to do this chapter? First of all, you'll read the chapter. Then yes, first of all, you'll watch the video, of course. So you'll watch the video, and if you want to revise it again, then you can watch the part 1 of the video again. After that, watch part 2 of the video, and then read the chapter again. once you are gone through each and every line, then try to solve the exercise if you can. And of course, I'll be sending you the answer key. Okay, so there is no need of worrying. Of course, you'll have the answer key, and you'll able to solve the entire exercise with the help of answer key. I'll be giving you answer key of the entire chapter, and else students, there are there was only one student who had completed with subject enrichment. So I want all the students to complete your subject enrichment work after your examination, not now. Once your examinations are over, just complete your subject enrichment work and send me on my WhatsApp number. I hope your exams are going well and you had a good English paper. You have performed well in English paper too. So from my side, the chapter the diary of space traveler is over. Then we'll have I'll even send you the workbook answer key. So you have to once we are done with the we are already done with the quest of El Dorado. Then today we are done with the diary of a space traveler given by Satyajit Ray, and then we'll complete the trains by Humayun Kabir. So when we are able to complete the entire unit 2, that is section 1, section 2 and section 3, I'll be giving you answer key of workbook as well. Go through solve the workbook, and then I'll be taking any of the topic of your grammar session that is part of your grammar book, and will solve the exercise. Okay, I hope I'm very much clear to you all and it was helpful to you all. Thank you so much. Have a good day.